A modern institution throws thousands of weak signals at a SOC, endpoint, network, memory, signatures, and analysts drown in alerts while the clock runs. What if a swarm of agents could fuse those signals, decide and prove its reasoning locally with no cloud and a tamper evident record of every call? This is Stigmergy, a local defensive DFIR platform. 60 macro agents, you can watch them ticking here at like an ant colony, each continuously scores artifacts and drops pheromone on the IPS domains processes it finds suspicious on a shared blackboard. A deterministic hot path fuses those deposits with Dempster Shafer evidence theory and decides in all under a millisecond, with no language model in the loop. Fast enough to keep pace with attacks that reach domain control in minutes. The model only deviates and explains afterwards of the critical path where it cannot slow or corrupt the decision, and it all runs on this one machine. And this isn't a mock-up. This is the official SANS Rockba case, an 18 GB Windows memory image from a real intrusion at Stark Research Labs. The full forensic curve I ran ahead of time, and here is output. Real indicators pulled straight from memory. Now watch me carve a slice of that same evidence live with bulk extractor, and there it is. Real IPs extracted in seconds, including 140, 2.250. The address the swarm will track, and every finding it produces hash chain and ED25519 sign. The ledger verifies OK, geotainted, across more than 1,000 signed findings. And notice the agent only ever call typed forensic tools. This is a purpose-built MCP server, 62 type function, volatility, ERA, bulk extractor, and no execute shell, no arbitrary command. It physically cannot run a destructive command because the architecture never exposes one. That's a guardrail by construction, not a prompt. Now, feed that carved indicator into the swarm. Two sensors disagree. Suricata says malicious command and control, and the endpoint agent says benign. Was the ledger advanced live? The consensus engine computes a user conflict 0.35, and instead of gazing, it raises the conflict and escalates live. And suspicious artifacts also spawn ephemeral factual pivot agents, bounded autonomous investigators, def3 white 16, that chase related evidence and then dissolve. Here are their signed findings in the ledger. The prosecutor defense judge debate runs off the hot path. So here's the verdict it already signed for the same address on the dashboard. And the swan doesn't just go deeper, it follows the evidence to new artifacts. The C2 finding led the agents to the internal host that had contacted it. A defined artifact it surfaced from the real network evidence, and it pivoted there and dug into what that host was doing, process injection. It decided where to look next based on what it found. Each step linked by a lineage and bounded so it never runs away. And these ephemeral pivot agents are separate from the 60 persistent sensors, born from a finding and gone when done. Back to the common shell. Every glowing atom is one suspect artifact bounded to the central blackboard. Size is how much evidence has piled up. Color is the swan's belief is evil. Red is bad. The hot cluster here is the internal lateral movement 10.1.0 host at 99% belief. I can dive into any atom to see its full case. Stigmergy doesn't just score artifacts, it reconstructs the story. The thread graph lays the incident out as a kill chain, a drive-by, encoded PowerShell, injection into SBC host, an LSAS credential dump, a run key for persistence, a meterpreter beacon, then lateral movement and exfiltration. I can scrub the timeline to replay exactly how the attack unfolded step by step. Attack mapping is per thread, not just a global heat map. Select one host, and the matrix collapses to exactly what that artifact did. This validation host only ran PowerShell. And on a confident malicious verdict, the platform doesn't just alert, It fires an automated CACAO containment playbook, detection through response autonomously. Every decision is code defensible too. Each finding is Black 3 hashed, ED25519 signed, hash chained, and anchored to a public 6-store transparency log, so anyone can verify the record wasn't altered. Stigmergy, a local defensive SOC that sends, fuses, decides, debates, and proves autonomously and entirely on your own hardware. It's open source, and the architecture, the standards, and the live demo are all in the repo. Thanks for watching.